Greetings! Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Episode 3. Well, episode 4 now, actually. We made it past. Did you know that we've made it past the official, 99% of podcasts or some? I saw some statistic quit after 3 episodes. So here we are, episode 4.
We made it.
The longevity, survivability,
Survivability.
So it doesn't just apply to TV show binging. There's a 3-episode rule for podcasts too.
3-episode rule for podcasts, 3-episode for TV. So anyways, this episode we're going to be talking about Knocked Loose, a band, and their rise to fame. Alex, how many times have you seen them now?
I've seen them 4 times this year. I saw, they put out the new album, so I saw them once in May and June, and then another in August and November.
Hang on, just to verify I'm hearing this right. You said 4 times this year.
Yeah.
Yes.
They tour a lot.
That's crazy.
I think that's, I know we'll get into that later. I think that's part of why they've gotten so much bigger is because they just never stop touring.
Yeah.
And they actually play places in the Midwest where no one else would.
Remy, go lay down, buddy. Go lay down. So yeah, Knocked Loose. They're from Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah.
So not quite Midwest, but I consider that Midwest a little bit, or not
Yeah.
too far from us.
No, I would definitely say there's an
They're
argument
the
there.
South, technically. But, all right. Anyways, I think we're gonna do a new series, like a playlist on YouTube, talking about bands and their come up. And so this is gonna be the first one. This is Knocked Loose, and this is our podcast, Triple Shot Trio. We talk everything music, entertainment. We booze it. Today we got the damn Blue Moon,
Classic.
Belgian Whites, classic.
No liquor.
We're
just
drinking.
me.
We're drinking for taste today.
We're drinking for taste, boys.
Anyways, please like, subscribe, share. It helps our channel tremendously. All right, we're gonna go into it. Today we're gonna talk about Knocked Loose, upbringing, discography, concert experience, because Alex and I saw him in concert, and the rise to fame. Okay, Knocked Loose, the origin. Formed in 2013 in Oldham County, Kentucky, a suburb of Louisville. Band originally went under the name of Manipulator. This is important because the first demo they made on Bandcamp, you guys remember Bandcamp? I know that's big in the 2012s and stuff.
I still use it.
First, yeah, he knows about the Bandcamp. First demo, Knocked Loose, under the name of Manipulator.
Mm-hmm.
Band name Manipulator, demo Manipulator. Wink, wink.
Yeah, even on the first, I know you're getting there, but the first EP they put out, Pop Culture, has Manipulator 2.
Does it really?
It's a song on it.
We're gonna get there. We're getting to that. The first EP.
Yeah.
First initial release was Pop Culture EP, made in 2014. Do you want to go in depth a little bit on Pop Culture? They have 3 or 4 songs on there.
Yeah, it's a 5-song EP. It's about 12 minutes long, so average is 2 to 3 minutes per song.
Yeah.
And they're kind of like a different band then. They honestly just wanted to show how hardcore is still a thing. And that younger people can do it.
Absolutely.
Right.
So, yeah. Anyway, they were good from the beginning. From their first demo, their first EP, they were good, and they kind of developed their sound early, unlike some other bands that, it takes them 2 or 3 albums to kind of find their groove. So, really good, really young, really early. They also did a split with Damaged Goods. You know anything about that? Split
I haven't
album with
listened
Damaged
to
Goods.
That's it. Like you say, that's probably one of those things they threw on Bandcamp. A lot of bands.
It was real early. This was before they released their first album.
Bands getting out there can put stuff on Bandcamp for free and make a few dollars off it.
Yeah. So anyway,
well,
key albums, key songs. Knocked Loose hit a lick with their first album when they signed with Pure Noise Records, a record label that was rather taboo for having a hardcore band. It had a lot of pop punk names on the album, on the label at the time, but it was kind of uncommon for them to sign a band like Knocked Loose, but nonetheless, I think they knew what they were doing with that. They really wanted them. So anyway, debut album, 2016, Laugh Tracks. We've all listened to Laugh Tracks.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about it?
It's definitely like, I think we were texting about it and you put in words like, this is the album they found their sound with.
Laugh
Is
Tracks, yeah.
Yeah, like, basically, like, you listen to the EP and demos, and then you listen to Laugh Tracks, you're like, this is the band we know nowadays.
Oh yeah, that was where they first got traction, was with Laugh Tracks.
Yeah, so still like two of their biggest songs, Dead Ringer and Counting Worms, are on that album.
The Counting Worms, I'm going to bring this up because this was at Coachella. When they played Counting Worms at Coachella, one of the biggest music festivals in the world, one of the biggest culture events in the world, Coachella, and you know, you think of Knocked Loose and you're like, okay, well it's mostly like EDM pop artists there.
Yeah.
They sung Counting Words, and I shit you not, the whole audience sung it like word for word.
Yeah.
It's a short song, but they knew every word. Billie Eilish was there.
Yeah.
Billie Eilish is, she's no stranger to the hardcore scene. I think she dated a guy in the neighborhood, and he was kind of a hardcore kid growing up. So she's been around that scene, and she supported them, and she was there singing their stuff, and she's a real big fan.
Yeah.
And it was no mistake that she was there because, you know, Coachella, there's like a million things going on at once. She took her time to go to Knocked Loose out of everything.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool, isn't it?
I saw a video of her backstage watching the band play. It's cool.
So she was there. Yeah, she was there, and we'll get into a little bit of that later.
I do want to say one thing before you move on.
John's got something to say too.
What you got?
It's actually, to inform the viewers, Alex here is a what do you call a little like phone book thing? Rolodex. Alex is a Rolodex of music genres and subgenres. So I need to verify this through Alex first.
Okay.
Is Knocked Loose a hardcore punk or metal?
Punk.
It's a complicated question because
Hardcore could fit into both, right?
Yeah, because like for my upbringing with them, I honestly was under the impression they were a metalcore band, which combines both.
Right.
In 2019, and to an extent they are a metalcore band, but I think they land more into the hardcore crowd.
Hardcore,
just straight up,
metal,
just straight up hardcore punk.
Straight up
just
hardcore punk.
And I don't even know if hardcore like claims the word punk, because there's like 80s punk, which was hardcore, and then when you get more towards the 2000s, people just started calling it hardcore.
Sure.
And it's more just about how heavy it is.
And that's what I was getting at, because the whole rhythm section is just mean sounding. Lyrics aggressive.
It's kind of got this like uncomforting feeling, because you got the ding 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 ding, the hardcore breakdowns, and you got his scream, which his scream, I feel like a lot of bands have this like low guttural scream where his is like higher, more angsty, like you can really feel like what he's saying in each word.
And I think that's definitely what got me into him, is even though I listen to a lot of metal genres, I've never really listened to a lot of metalcore, because I felt some bands are just a little bit too cheesy or edgy.
Sure.
And then I listened to them in 2019, that, we're going to get to that more again, but different shade of blue.
Different shade of blue, yeah.
I was like, this is different.
Sure, absolutely.
This is like the songs just meant a lot more to me than the average metalcore album.
That's fair.
I agree.
I do want to but one thing I wanted to mention, I know we both had something at the same time, is that while we're talking about them being on Coachella 2023, that is one of the bigger festivals around, but they also played Bonnaroo in 2023. So they were on...
Ooh.
festival.
They were on 2 different festivals that mainly get pop artists.
Originally, their first big one was Warped Tour in 2017.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. But Warped Tour when we were in high school was like, oh, the Warped Tour. Now it's not as big of a thing.
That's
but in
right.
high school, that was some big shit.
Hey,
Man.
they're bringing
So-
it back.
So they're bringing it back. They're gonna be highlighting. They're bringing it back. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2016. At the time, I kind of did some information. The hardcore scene was kind of in jeopardy, and the only other big name at the time was the band Turnstile. Have you listened to anything Turnstile?
No.
I wasn't real big into hardcore, and like when we were in high school. So
Yeah,
I haven't,
Especially
but
not at that age. No.
not at that age, no.
Yeah, same for me. Like I know the band name just because I go to so many record stores,
Yeah.
but I've never actually listened to them.
So Laugh Tracks. Will Putney did some great work on this album. He really polished production with heaviness as well as a really clean and thought out ideas. Bad production, especially with hardcore bands of this genre at the time, was fairly common. So this was the album that separated them from the pack. So
Yeah, Will.
Copy that.
yeah,
I looked up a list a while ago, and I can't remember all of it right now. But Will Putney, he's done a lot of work of different hardcore bands. He's got like this whole sound
sure.
going on that a
So
lot of
he's
people
kind
like.
of one of the premier, or at least was one of the
Yeah,
premier
like-
producers in the hardcore genre.
Yeah, if you see like a lot of hardcore bands that have kind of gotten popular, up and coming, they kind of start off with him and doing the production, and then they kind of move on to other people.
Sure. Okay. So yeah. Anyways, we're getting to Alex's favorite part. 2019 released A Different Shade of Blue, their second album. Alex, what would you say about Different Shade of Blue? I've listened to it a little bit, but like, what about that album's different from the first album and their EPs and their early stuff on Bandcamp?
There was just kind of a different style they were going for on it. There's some of the like interludes and stuff they sample
Yeah.
is like, I think I told you this when we saw them in August opening for Slipknot. It's like this band, they're like a horror movie turned into a band. So like some of the samples for like intros and outros,
Like
and
kinda scary and
some of the
comforting.
lyrical themes, even
Yeah.
the music video.
I've noticed their lyrics are kind of dark from listening to Laugh Tracks. I was like, man,
Yeah.
these guys, their lyrics are kind of dark.
Yeah, and back then it was just kind of plain dark.
You got your
but
Spotify on your phone?
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
their Spotify or Apple Music. Can I see? I'd like to talk about the lyrics a little bit.
yeah.
Let me just read
Just to kind of let
For, like-
people know, man.
Okay. Well, let me see here. So let's see. There's Laugh Tracks. Move it up.
Gonna play some. I was just to see the. Okay. This one is called My Heroes, so I'm like, okay, this dude's talking about his heroes. He's and obviously, these are gonna be some cool lyrics.
That made me laugh.
I dwell above the sea of flames, waiting for the moment when my harness breaks, and I burn like my idols burn. Hang on.
Definitely hardcore.
All my hero. The last part of the song goes, "All my heroes went to hell. All my heroes went to hell."
Yeah, it like.
What do you have to say about that,
I mean-
Alex?
Even Slipknot has like similar themes on their first album. Not first, but first of Corey. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like
yeah, why they opened that? I mean, it probably Slipknot. I think they probably reminded them of them in their younger days.
Yeah, like-
back to Iowa and their first albums and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
I had to look up the age for Brian. I think it's the lead singer Brian Garris. I think he's 31.
He's 30
So you
30
gotta-
or 30. So he's like our
So-
age damn near.
But you gotta think like
A
this
little
is
older than us.
So this is the type of music that's like popular now. So this is like our generation's like Slipknot.
Absolutely, that's a good ass
And that's
comparison.
So that's kind of why it makes sense that they opened for Slipknot.
That is
on
our-
the summer tour,
Our generation Slipknot. That's well put.
because like they're around that age, lyrical themes, style of music. Like how did this get popular? But
Sure.
I like it.
Right, yeah.
that it's popular.
And I fuck with it. And so we're gonna go on to their the next EP, and this was a concept album. You guys familiar with a concept album?
Yeah.
To a degree, yeah.
So a concept album is like that where they take like one thing I can think of like the Red Hot Chili Peppers do it is like Danny California. She's like this character and she's in different kinds of songs and but a concept album is they take like a certain person or a place and they kind of like mix it. So it's like a story. They're like telling a story. So what were you gonna say, Alex?
Yeah, you mentioned that with songs. So like I guess like a concept album, doing that for the whole thing. Like the song from the start to finish, these songs connected to the same story.
Right. So I'm gonna read you what Brian said about this album. It's a story about extreme grief and the levels a person is willing to go through to get rid of it. The story follows the main character through a traumatic car crash late one night in the woods that leaves his partner deceased. And from there you spiral with him into depression and guilt that becomes with being the cause of being something so detrimental. This is the first time we really dove in and tried to create something sonically that evokes a different range of emotions and overall something that introduces tension and anxiety with a massive payoff. The story is told not only through the words through the music as well, which proved to be the biggest challenge in writing. Lyrically, the story ended up being much more than we really intended it. We started with the idea to tell a fictional story, but throughout the process I found ways to incorporate real feelings of loss and mourn, as well as anger and self-doubt. I've always been a very personal writer, and that was originally a step away from that into something more artistic, but in the end it was just as therapeutic as writing a regular knock loose record, and I think you'll be able to hear that. So talking about getting in a car crash, imagine losing your girlfriend or something, and then feeling that pain and that anger through that album. That's kind of a cool concept, don't you guys think?
And it's kind of like I said, like even though Different Shade of Blue isn't a concept album, it started having that kind of feel. So that's why A Tear in the Fabric Alive, I think they went in that direction. It's like our music can sound like all of this stuff, but let's actually like write an album to be kind of a story that you would see in like a horror movie or TV series.
Yeah, just listening to that and the darkness that comes through that, and like you said with Slipknot, you're thinking about like Iowa or something like that. That's maybe that album was their Iowa.
A lot of that was real. Yeah, and the music video, I remember when that came out, that was kind of my push to get into them a bit more, because there's a whole 20-minute music video for the whole EP.
Okay.
And
so really, I haven't
great.
seen that. I need to delve into that.
Yeah, no, it's great. And then but to me, those, like, even though their new album's doing really well and they're touring a lot for it, I think those two are like, that's kind of where they like perfected their sound.
Okay. Gotcha.
And now we're kind of going into like the turn into popularity.
Yeah, more into the popular. But moving on, we're going to talk about their tours and performances. Warped Tour 2017, Laughing Tracks was their first significant tour. That exposes you to a lot of popularity. Just being at those festivals, you're nobody, or you barely make it, and all of a sudden, people are like, who's that? Run over, hear that, and now you're somebody, and the more you are at those big festivals, the more subject you are to like people, catching on to you. Like, damn, that really sounds good. So 2017 Warped Tour, 2018 first headlining tour with Terror. I saw that Terror was a bigger name in the music community, and at the time, people were like, why are you letting these knock loose? Like, why are you letting them headline this tour? They were like, you guys are bigger than them. And they were like, listen, I've got to, like the lead singer of Terror was like, I got to be honest with you. These guys are better than us now. Okay, so this is just part of it. They're better than us. They're on the come up. They're headlining this tour. there's no problems with that. So
Yeah.
these guys are on their way, their first headlining tour with Terror.
Yep.
And it wasn't the show I went to, but I think the hometown show I went to in June, it ended up being a 3-night show, and I think the first or second night was Terror still playing with them.
Wow.
I could be wrong about that.
Terror, so they
Because
had
it wasn't
Terror on.
wasn't the night I went to. Yeah, I probably won't be able to find that right away, but
We'll
it's
find
good.
that fast.
So that's fun. So Terror, you think Terror was with them?
Yeah.
When was that? Was that last year or?
No, this year. I saw. I think it was like June 15th or the 17th,
Okay.
in in Louisville,
Okay.
and so they're still with them.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say? Something?
Possibly. I do. A side mention that Alex has said earlier. They never stop touring. It does help get them up in the fame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've been to Indy 2017, 2018, I think 2021, 2024.
Yeah.
So,
I think 2022. I didn't go
on
to.
their grind.
I didn't go to the
damn near laughing tracks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or laugh tracks.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I didn't go to the show, but I think in 2022 they opened for like Suicide Boys.
Did they?
That would
Yeah.
be awesome.
So I mean, and they.
That's kind of interesting too, because around that time, the mumble rap, but also like the screaming and the rap, like I'm thinking like XXXTentacion
Yeah.
like 2016, 2017. Them dudes were the biggest in the world. Like they kind of started that stuff. So to be with a group like Suicide Boys and Scream
Yeah.
and them guys, that really probably opened a lot of people's doors. They're probably like, this is badass. So it was good to be around that.
Yeah, there's really a lot of rap crossover with them, which kind of like. It's not like the type of rap I listen to, but I still appreciate it.
Yeah.
But there are some there, like, I know it wasn't the show I went to, but I think the four or five shows before the one in November, they last minute added Danny Brown as an opener,
Okay.
and that took me by surprise. He's probably one of my favorite rappers of the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Brown.
it
Who
was
knocked
like,
loose? Knocked loose at him?
yeah,
Nice.
he was opening for him, and they had another hardcore band, Drain.
So
Yeah.
Alex, let's talk about that time when we were at Deer Creek, and they called for that giant wall of death. How scared we were! I saw the fear in your eyes.
Yeah, there was genuine. It's like, there was like a split second of like, no, that's not gonna happen. Like
Right.
Deer Creek,
Dude,
they-
I kind of called it right before it happened. I'm like, he said, everybody listen, and I looked to Corey and I was like, dude, if they call a giant wall of death, I'm like, I've never seen this shit. And then they're like, split this motherfucker down the middle. We're like,
the entire lawn.
The entire
the entire lawn. I've been seeing some mosh, but not enough. He said, this side, go over there. This side, go over there. And I was like, I looked at Corey, and Corey's like, I'm not gonna do this, man. I'm not gonna do this. He was like, and then our buddy Grant was there, and he has like a program where he teaches special ed. So he's got his special ed dude there, and I'm like, oh nah.
Oh, no.
I just was like, man, shit's about to get real, but it didn't really happen. Like some people did, but it didn't.
It's
Go ahead.
it's like Deer Creek. Every time you go there, there's always a mosh in the center, and then the place is just too big to have it everywhere else.
Yeah.
But still, like, just to have a wall of death in the middle, I've never seen that. So there was like a level of audience participation that I've never seen before that they got out of everybody there.
I mean, there's always some moshes there if it's like quote semi-rock, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I've never seen that.
I almost felt like they had equal or more audience participation than what Slipknot had when they got on.
Mm-hmm.
But, they're both good.
Right.
Absolutely. And no, it was just cool seeing Knocked Loose, man. I really, I thought they played better than Slipknot did. Only because Slipknot was playing their stuff from like '99. Like
Yeah.
there's so many classics I wanted to hear, And I guess that's my fault because I should have looked and seen they were only playing their stuff like before 2000.
Yeah.
But
I mean, either way, it's worth it, you know?
I thought it was cool. Like they had some stuff like Wait and Bleed and stuff, but I guess like I wanted to hear more like psychosocial and like Iowa type shit.
Yeah.
But it was fun. But just because of that, they only appealed to like their real fans. They didn't appeal to everybody. Like, what was that album that came out in 2016 or 2017?
Gray Chapter? That's the one from 2014 or 15. The one you're thinking of is you're thinking of 2019,
let me see the
We're Not Your Kind.
We're Not Your Kind. That album actually was like really good, and I feel like good to their new fans. So if they would have played all their albums, and not to mention like songs like Psychosocial, like there's a lot of memes about that, and everybody knows that. So
yeah.
you're alienating your crowd to only the stuff played before the 90s, which some people love, but I feel like you either love it or you're like, damn, I wish I would have heard the full catalog.
Right.
So
that was my third time seeing them, and like 2019, 21, and then 24, and they had a lineup change. I think they were ready for something different. Okay. They didn't want to do the like hit set list like they've been doing every other time I saw them.
Yeah.
Right. So right. Yeah. Anyways, though, let's talk a little bit about. We're going to talk about like the influence on the genre that Brian has and the band has, and kind of what they bring to the genre and to music. Perhaps one of the most unique feats about this band is Brian's vocals. Most of these bands have a lower scream, what I was talking about earlier. Mm-hmm. Brian's brings more of a high-pitch, aggressive, enraged, and shriek that fits into the mix of instruments flawlessly. Just their mix, and we talked about their first album, and it just fits really well. And I think it's something that not a lot of hardcore or punk or modern bands, for that matter, have. So.
Yeah. I don't think like age comes into it as well, because I don't know if we covered that or if you had that in mind for later in your notes, but like they get all ages at their shows.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's plenty of people being inspired to go to
I saw a guy on YouTube say this, and I can agree with it more. Like, you're not gonna sell tickets just appealing to like fucking dudes with beards. With fucking neck beards, bro.
Right.
You gotta appeal to like some teenage and the female and the younger crowd, younger generation too. You can't just appeal to dudes with, like I said, beards. I'm sure we have bands like that we like, but they're not huge. You know what I mean? It is for that reason. So Knocked Loose does a really good job at that. They're one of the best probably right now. Mm-hmm. So anyways, we're going to talk a little bit about Coachella. I know we talked about like Billie Eilish and stuff like that, but you know what we talked about, Billie Eilish was there at Coachella, huge fan of theirs, audience singing Counting Worms, and Coachella being this like cultural festival and probably one of the biggest things in pop culture, and then a band like Knocked Loose gets such well reception. That's great. That's a win for the rock community, the metal community, and then this is a festival where you're talking like guys like Frank Ocean would headline, you know what I mean, and people like that. People want to come and see, and I love Frank Ocean. Frank Ocean's made some really good music, like Blonde. Have you guys listened to Blonde? Mm-hmm. Blonde, I think, is like one of the best albums. Like, I love that album.
Yeah, there's a reason why it's always in like those top albums lists of like the past decade.
Yep.
And Frank Ocean will just slide out of there and disappear for like years and years, and then come back with something. But people eat that shit up. Like I remember at Coachella one year, everybody wanted to see Frank Ocean. Well, Frank ended up not playing, but Drake was the headliner.
Yeah,
and at that time, Drake was on top of the world, dude. He had all these classes. And he didn't just play his new stuff like Nonstop. You guys probably know that song. But he played his entire catalog, like classic, like old Drake and stuff, like a set he never does. And and all these kids were bitching and stuff. But anyway,
Yeah.
kind of taking this too far, right? They played at Coachella, which was really cool, I think.
Yeah.
But anyway, as far as the future goes for this, do you have any idea like where they're going to go with their sound or what they're going to do, or what do you think is going to happen?
And they've only just been further developing their style, so I imagine going more into it. I don't know. Have you listened to the newest album from start to finish?
No.
Okay. Well, the closing song is a lot more atmospheric than the rest of it, and they're playing that live nowadays. They close their shows with it. I think I could see them not going in a lighter direction, but just more stuff like that. Okay. It's atmospheric and heavy.
I don't think that they're gonna do anything too crazy. I think they're gonna keep I don't think they're gonna change, is what I'm saying. I don't think they're gonna go softer, because if they wanted to go softer, they could have. A lot of artists, in the next episode, we'll be talking about Linkin Park. Linkin Park, the last album, One Last Light.
Yeah.
They kind of went for a softer feel, but I don't think they have any plans of doing that in the near future. I think they're going to be heavy, and it doesn't seem to be hurting their popularity.
No.
Yep.
But let's talk about Kimmel.
Yeah. Well.
So I'm going to, if you don't mind, I'm going to screen record, and I'm going to show John. So you've probably seen it, haven't you, Alex? Kimmel. Okay.
I have watched it.
Okay.
One thing while we're waiting on that, I do want to mention is that it's really big they were on Kimmel, but also that they, the new album was nominated for a Grammy, and that's one thing Kimmel mentions on the show.
Oh,
so
yeah.
They probably would have gotten there either way or some TV show, but it's definitely the fact that they're a Grammy-nominated hardcore metal band that they got them on Kimmel.
Right.
Oh, yeah. And Kimmel's kind of known for having, what's it called? Heavier people on the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I remember, not the most recent Mastodon album, but the one before it.
My son was in tears.
Oh, are you looking at that? There's a legit comment over that people are putting everywhere.
Bruh, I'm sorry.
We might have to do a side move over to that before we go to the video.
That's fucking crazy, bro.
You have to look up the article if you want it word for word. Because I've seen it copy and pasted a few places. It sounds like something somebody made up, but apparently it's real. I don't know.
That's fucking crazy. Oh, you gotta shit me. The QuickTime player. I'm trying to.
Can you display it from there?
Fuck. I was gonna say the QuickTime player was the screen recorder thing. Let me see if I can't.
Display the video itself at this point.
Yeah, I can always just
edit it in later.
Record it later. Yeah, that's a good point, Alex.
This is what Geico does so your rates won't increase with your first
accident forgiveness.
Yes. Oh, Geico offers this 24/7.
Emergency roadside service.
Can we change categories, please?
Yeah.
For savings and service, get more with Geico.
Their album is called You Won't Vote According You're Supposed to. Here at the Grammy-nominated South Suffocate with help from Poppy.
Sounds pretty nice, huh?
Yeah.
I like that guitar.
Yeah. It's almost chant, but not exactly.
Dude, they got a mosh pit on Kimmel, bro. That's
yeah,
cool.
I know.
Can you see it good enough, Alex?
Yeah.
That's Poppy, bro.
Yeah.
Poppy sounds good, though.
Yeah. Have you watched the video before? First time?
I don't think I've watched the video, man.
There was.
Dude, they have similar tonalities, bro. They
Yeah,
both
I
kind of have
definitely-
that high voice, man.
I definitely think
Know that.
that was one reason why they got her for the guest on the album.
Really? That breakdown.
This is also the first time Brian's done this.
That sounds like a fucking pig, bro.
That's basically what it is. Just a big squeal. And also, if you look at it, you can see Brian's pulling away the mic, but they had the sensor still because Poppy didn't.
Oh, really? Poppy didn't get the message, bro. So
It's more like Brian just has those skills, you know.
So
Just
what-
pull away the mic away.
Extension that's actually made by.
Why was his son in tears?
probably when Poppy came on because she cussed.
It was no, it was like I'm paraphrasing here if you don't look it up, but essentially it was somebody who was like, oh, I watch this programming with my kid every week, and we always look forward to the music artist, and it was something like within the first 4 junts, so like the guitar junt.
Yeah.
Like my child was in tears. I'm like, it is not that deep.
It ain't that bad.
So they want a formal apology from Jimmy Kimmel.
Yep.
You gonna do it, Kimmel? Anyways, though, that kind of concludes the episode as far as I have anything to say about it. You guys have anything else to say about it?
Not much, you know. I'm just glad they're getting bigger.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm glad to see the exposure because they really were good. And I remember going to Chicago and we were listening. We all drove together and listening to Knocked Loose and hearing that. I was like, man, they're good. And then seeing them in concert, you know, I enjoyed it. So, but yep, with that said, please like, subscribe, and share if you enjoyed this episode, enjoy the content, enjoy the music. We look forward to doing it again, and we will see you guys next time.
We out.
Peace.